afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our digital marketing workshop. How is everyone feeling today? I hope everyone is excited and ready to have an educational and fun afternoon.
Yes, thank you. Good evening.
Welcome. Good evening, Sandra. Thank you for joining us. So for those of us who are new, I am Tanis and I'm going to be tonight's host. We also have a few members from our SME Resource Center and our SME Relationship Manager with us. We also have our co-host, which is Imagen Nation, and they are one of our marketing partners, but you'll get to meet everybody shortly. We are going to start with a word of prayer and also an excerpt from our vision of love. So we're going to ask Sophia, and Sophia is our SME relationship manager from our Otrius branch, to lead us in prayer.
Let us pray, everyone. Eternal God and our Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for today, Lord, and for all your blessings on us. Lord, as we commence this workshop, we pray, Lord, that you'll grant us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Father, we pray that all persons who are in attendance, Lord, for all our clients and for all our team members, Lord, we pray that the information that is shared and will be shared afternoon, Lord, will be of great benefit to us all. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
We're now going to ask Shauna to share the vision of love. We selected a section from our vision of love, which is a document that we have at JMMB that speaks to our core values. And we really believe that this section is something that a section that you can connect with. Go ahead, Shauna.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. The atmosphere that JMMB is in the process of developing may be defined as an energy field where overlapping circles of creativity, passion, excitement, fun, and laughter coexist in a dynamic process that ultimately leads to higher and higher levels of self-actualization, hence the achievement of the organizational mission. This is loving, caring, and honest atmosphere where ideas are valued and shared openly, where a balance is created between aspirations and practical aspects of work and life. Thank you.
Because we believe that the vision of love is such an impactful document, we have it on our website. So if it is that you want to see what is in the entire document, feel free to visit our website, www.jmmb.com, to read the entire document. Before we go on, I'd just like to share a few housekeeping matters. We have posted in our chat window. And if you want to get to the chat window, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you should see a few buttons. The chat option is one of them. If you click on it, it will open a window to your extreme right. And we have gone ahead and we have placed our contact information there, as well as a link to a self-assessment option that you would have gotten when we sent out the registration information. So what that link does is it assesses your readiness, helps you to assess how ready you are to take on digital marketing. So for those persons who have not completed it as yet, I'm going to ask you to just quickly do it because we're going to be using the information shortly. So we'd also like to just introduce the rest of the team, and I'm going to ask Natalia, who is our SME Resource Center officer in our Trinidad branch, to go ahead and introduce the team.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So like Denise said, my name is Natalia. I'm the Resource Center Officer out of Trinidad and Tobago. And tonight I'm here just to introduce the rest of our SME team, and as well as our partner that is joining us for our workshop this evening. So we have a member of our banking team with us here this afternoon, and she is Miss Sophia Dawkins, who is our SME Relationship Manager out of the Ocho Rios branch. You would have heard from her earlier. She gave us that lovely prayer. And we also have from the Resource Center, we have Ms. Shani Duncan Faulkner, who is our Group SME Resource Center lead. We also have Denise, our SME Resource Center officer, who you heard from earlier and who's hosting the session this evening. We have Mr. Vincent Auld, Ms. Paula Forrest, and well, of course, myself. And we have Ms. Shauna Harris, who is our SME administrator here with us this evening. And joining us is one of our partners. She's a marketing partner within the Resource Center in Jamaica. Her name is Miss Deborah Horton, but you'll hear a little bit more about her and Imagen Nation later on. So just to get into the presentation, before we get into that, I noticed we have a couple new people in the session this afternoon. So I just wanted to open up the floor and invite you guys to, share with us your name, your business name, what it is that you do, just so that we could become a little bit more familiar with each other and, have a great interactive session this evening. So do we have any takers? Feel free to jump in. Now is the time.
Good evening. My name is Paulette Price. I'm a real estate broker.
Thanks, Paulette. Thanks for sharing and welcome back.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else want to share?
Hello. Good evening.
Hi.
I'm Vinette Allen, and I am with Contractors of Cable and Electrical Services. There are two sides to our business. We are a contractor to Flow, where we construct cable lines. And we also sell solar water heater and lights.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing, Vinette. Lovely to have you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to share?
Hi, I'm Vivian Nelson. Name of the company is NPS Group Limited. What we do, we've found a space of bringing IT solution and accounting in one umbrella. So for all the small, medium businesses that have IT or accounting issues, we're the person that we hope that they find. What we've found out is most time a project or a software implementation is hung because account is waiting on IT or IT is waiting on accounts. And then we've also realized that the language is different. So the IT language is different than the accounting. And so there's a lot of, because of mixed communication or the mix of language, the project takes longer to complete. So we come in and we are talking with the accountant, we're talking with the IT person, and we help the software implementation to go faster. We help the accounting processes, the policies and the procedures to end up going faster. So we're pretty much in that middle space.
Okay, great. Well, welcome, and we're happy to have you. And I just want to say, if you guys have or would like to drop your contact information or your website or anything like that in a group chat, feel free. This is a perfect networking opportunity. You don't know what kind of business connections you can make, so feel free to share that info in the chat as well. Would anyone else like to share before we go forward?
I feel like one of our newbies should introduce themselves.
Yeah.
Ms. Greaves, do you want to introduce your business? You never know. We have had quite a few business connections in our session.
I think Karen is unmuted, so I think Karen wants to say something.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hi, good evening.
Okay, my name is Karen Cook, and I'm a real estate dealer. And my company is KMC Property Services. I actually just launched my business, and this is really the timing of my business, but the timing of when you guys called me to, to be a part of these wonderful sessions that you're having could you know, it is just the right timing of everything. And I'm really appreciative of it, as it will only help to bolster my business. So I am here to learn as much as possible and try my best this evening to participate.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I have been in the business for over 10 years, in real estate for over 10 years. So as you can see, I'm no chicken in the business. So feel free to contact me, those of you who need real estate business or real estate help or opportunities.
And Karen, you could also leave your
I'll put my number in the chat.
Okay. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
My name is Rohan.
My name is Tiny Greaves.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Rohan. Okay. My name is Tiny Greaves. I am the owner of Tans Infinity. I am an online-based business, and I am looking forward to the information that you're sharing here, since everything about my business is basically digital and influencers and connections. So I am super excited as to the information that I will receive this evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Tanique. Thanks for sharing. Paulette just put a comment in the chat. She said she would love to see the faces of the people who are introducing themselves. So feel free to put on your cameras. It's a very intimate session. You know, we're all friendly here. So yes, I think Mr. Boyd wanted to go next. And then we
Yes, okay, I've done that. Okay, good evening.
Okay, hi.
Okay, my name is Rohan Boyd, and the name of my business is RS Services, and it's a family business. So the R's, it has a meaning behind it. My name is Rohan, so it's R, and my son is Mario. That's for the R's. And the S is my wife is Sandra. My two daughters are Cheryl and Chanel, so it's RS Services. And one of the services that we offer is Brand Yourself. And Brand Yourself is has a personalized item like tags. And right now where we're pushing right now is personalizing medical bracelets and medical pendants. So persons who right across the Caribbean, that's why I need to push it now to see persons across the Caribbean right now, the whole globe anyway, who have certain medical conditions and all that, they need to have a medical bracelet identifying their name, their contact number, and their medical condition is engraved at the back of it.
Nice. Well, thanks for sharing, and thanks for taking the time to join us this evening.
Okay, no problem. The pleasure.
Very useful. All right. So just to move into the expected outcomes for this workshop, as you guys know, this workshop is a 3-series workshop. So this is just the first session in the series. So what we expect, Denise, do you have the? Okay, good. I just want to make sure everyone was seeing the presentation. Okay, so at the end of this session, we would expect you to be able to determine the most appropriate digital marketing platform for your company. We would also want you to be able to create a digital marketing strategy for your company, as well as assess and adjust your digital marketing strategy as you see fit. Right, so all of these expected outcomes are what you should be able to do at the end of the 3-series workshop, right? So we'll get a little bit more into what we'll be focusing on today a little bit later on. So now I'm gonna hand over to Denise to just take us through the first part of the session. Denise?
Thank you, Natalia. So as Natalia said earlier, we are going to be spending the next 3 weeks speaking about digital marketing and learning how to create, implement, and how to measure the impact of your strategy. What a digital marketing strategy really is, it's just coming up with a plan, creating a plan in terms of how to reach your prospective clients and how to convert these clients to your returning customers. And we're going to do that using digital technology. A lot of persons would know about social media, but there are a number of other channels that you can use to do a digital marketing strategy, such as you can do blogging, you can use emails, there are paid and organic search options, among many others that we're going to be discussing today. But why take on a digital marketing strategy? When you implement a digital marketing strategy, it's actually a very cost-effective marketing tool. And when you cost-effective will allow you to compete with business owners who have a much larger budget than yourself. And it also allows you to reach these customers where they are. So instead of waiting for customers to come into you, you're going into their space. So if there's somebody who likes to read blog, you will go into their atmosphere and allow them to learn about your company. Also, digital marketing channels allow you to monitor the campaigns. So when you implement, you're able to go back and see how effective those channels are and decide whether or not you want to make any changes. And this will allow you to assess your return on your investment. We are going to be, over the next 4 weeks, we're going to be looking at 6 key elements to creating your digital marketing strategy. The first one would have been to assess your company's digital marketing readiness. And we had sent out the link earlier for you to start that process. So if you haven't done it as yet, as I said earlier, the link is in the chat option. Just go ahead and complete this session, that section. Paula, you had your hand up?
Yes,
it's blurry.
A couple of people
okay.
in the chat are saying that the screen is blurry.
So, are you seeing it better now?
No.
No?
A little better, not much.
Right, let me stop sharing and share again and see if that's better.
Yeah, please.
I think we should also be able to share these slides with you guys after the session as well, just so that you don't miss any of the info.
Are you seeing it better now?
No.
No.
It may be the monitor. If you're using a desktop, it could be the monitor itself.
But what we will do is we'll send it out so that you can have it to review and prepare for the next session. So we'll send it out tomorrow. So I was saying that—
Sorry, just before you continue, apologies. It's actually worse now. It was a little bit better before.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's anything you can do to go back to even how it was before. Thank you.
No problem. This is better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So there are 6 elements that we're going to be discussing. First is to assess your company's digital marketing readiness. And then once you have done that, you're going to define your company's unique selling proposition. And what this really is to identify what it is that makes you different from your competitors. You want to speak about what it is that you want your customers to know about your company. And then the next stage is where we're going to be building or creating your ideal buyer persona. And this is not just about identifying who your ideal target client is. It's also about identifying what channels they use and how you're going to reach your ideal buyer. The next stage is to create a marketing content plan. And this is where you're going to determine the exact content that is required to capture your ideal buyer. You are also going to determine what content you have to post in order to attract your customers. And then you'll have some backup content, which are the ones that you'll possibly post, which would be your long-term content plan. And then you would have a medium-term plan as well. The 5th stage, which we're going to be looking at, is creating your calendar. And at this stage, you're going to be a little bit more specific. You're now going to start breaking down your content. You're going to start deciding when you're going to post these, how you're going to post, what channels you're going to use. Are you going to use an automated channel? Are you going to be using, are you going to be posting around holidays? That's what you're going to be doing in your marketing calendar section. And then, of course, once you've done all that work, it's now time to execute and measure the impact of the strategy that you have created. So we're going to, for today, we'll be focusing on identifying your unique selling proposition, as well as building your company's ideal buyer persona. So I'm going to hand over now to Natalia, who is going to introduce our co-host, who is Imagen Nation, and Deborah from Imagen Nation is going to be doing the presentation.
All right. So just to give you a little background on who Imagen Nation is and who Change Dynamics is, right? So Change Dynamics International was established in December 2008. The company offers small business support services. The target groups are MSMEs and non-governmental organizations, faith-based organizations, as well as charitable organizations. They're a family-owned business that are here to help satisfy all staff development and training, business planning and development, administrative and organizational assessment needs. CDI Limited is dedicated to a personal level of service and product customization unparalleled in the business. And then in early 2018, the Imagen Nation Inc. brand was born as a subsidiary with its roots in the UK and has served to widen the scope of the CDI portfolio to include a branding house that is focused on custom branding, marketing consultancy, project and campaign management. So they're very experienced in the marketing field, right? With expertise in business solutions architecture, they continue to vastly expand the training and consultancy expertise of the company as a whole. So this evening, Deborah is going to be guiding us through the session. And let me just pull up my little bio on Deborah. It's very short, so we'll make it sweet. Right, so Deborah Horton, she's actually the managing director of Imagen Nation, and Deborah has an extensive background in marketing and brand development and has garnered exposure from both local and international brands such as Red Bull and Pulse International. She's also worked at events such as Caribbean Fashion Week and Caribbean Model Search and Pulsate. She is multifaceted with experience across several areas such as research, sustainable development, business analysis, design, and project management. She sits as a current director of Change Dynamics International and the managing director of the Imagen Nation Inc. brand. She has an associate's degree in business administration with a minor in marketing, a BSc in architectural studies, and is currently pursuing a professional diploma in project management and leadership. So I'll now hand over to Ms. Deborah Horton from Imagen Nation to take us through the next part of the session.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah. All right, great. I'm very excited to join this session this evening. And in our subsequent weeks, we're going to be going through a lot of information that I hope is valuable to you as small business owners, whether you are just starting out or you have some experience under your belt. And just to further some information that the JMMB team would have shared with you before, we have been in touch, whether you're here or not, with quite a few other JMMB customers. And what we have found is there may be a hesitation where digital marketing is concerned to probably employ someone external to your business or a full-time employee. And we understand the challenges that small businesses, or even if you're a sole proprietor, that you face, especially in the times that we're in now, where a lot of businesses were affected by COVID and still being affected. And so we wanted to reach out to JMMB and do this partnership. For those of you who need to be a one-man band right now, you may need to cut back on expenses and find cost-effective ways to do your marketing. And we did not want persons to be absent from the digital space during this time, whether or not you're able to take our services on or any other external marketing companies' services on. We want to empower businesses to be able to start, to be present, and then perhaps later on as you grow, you will see outside expertise and information to supplement what you've already started. But I've always believed, no matter what area it is of your business that you may not be the expert in, it's always great to have a baseline. So when you do bring an expert on board, you know what they're supposed to be doing, so that you don't get the wool pulled over your eyes. So that's definitely something we believe in, and we want to work together with JMMB, of course, in the future, and all the other businesses that are going to join us in the subsequent weeks to help you really grasp a better understanding of what you can be doing in the digital marketing space, and to really get you kickstart in growing in those spaces, so that you are empowered to function as experts and thought leaders in these spaces, and eventually drive growth for your revenue as well as growth for your business overall and your personal development as well. Everybody with me so far? Hello.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right. No, I want everybody to be engaged and talking and participating. So I've noted quite a few names that I recognize are going to be calling on you guys if you don't answer me right away. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to get started. And for those of you who have not yet filled out the assessment, as Tani said, it has been shared in the chat, and it's very important for you to complete it so that my team member Samantha can send you back your responses, because your responses are going to be part of what helps guide your strategy, one. And two, your responses may also change as you get additional information, and we may segment your answers for different parts of your business, for those of you who offer more than one product or service. So having your responses to the assessment on hand is going to be very important, and it has been shared in the chat, and there is a team member of ours, Samantha, who is turning around the responses as you fill them out. So go ahead and continue filling it out, and as we progress, she will be creating the responses so that everybody can have it up and running. So let me go ahead and open the presentation so that I can share my screen. I had it open. I don't know where it went.
Strictly sister died. So you heard?
Okay, here we go. Is everyone seeing the presentation now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right. So this week, as we've already gone through, we're going to be covering reviewing the responses to your needs assessment, as well as defining your unique selling proposition. So the first question in the needs assessment form speaks to what industry you're in. And this is important for you to know, because you need to be able to assess yourself as well as ensure that you're not getting into any trouble. So I'm glad to see that I have Karen and Paulette here who are in the real estate industry, because this first slide, I am actually also a licensed real estate agent with Keller Williams. So we'll be doing some business in the future, guys. But why it's important, I also heard someone speak that there is an accounting facet to their business. So if you're in an industry that's regulated, whether by an act that's passed into law in Jamaica or any other country based on where you're registered, or regulated by a board or a code of ethics, in the digital space, there may be rules that govern how you advertise. Certainly, for those of you who are real estate practitioners, the real estate board stipulates that you must include certain information even when you are advertising in the digital space. So I've used two examples here from two persons who are in the digital space in real estate, and highlighted issues that may come up if they were to be audited by the person who regulates their industry. Now, as you are going about assessing yourself, you need to probably go back through your past posts and update them, as well as do a little research if you haven't started in the digital space yet, to find out who are the professional associations that govern your industry, who is there a code of ethics that govern how you advertise, because this already will give you a setback in the industry and you can be penalized. Certainly, where real estate is concerned, I know where accounting is concerned, you have a regulator. I know where lawyers and doctors are concerned, there are codes of ethics as to how they advertise, and so you have to be cognizant of that fact. Even in manufacturing, there are standards. In cosmetics, there would be standards like your labeling, etc. There are standards that define how you use the Made in Jamaica brand, all sorts of regulations. So it's important for you to know what's happening in your industry and who your oversight body is or your regulator is, and if there are any rules for how you engage in the digital space. So ensuring that you know that is very important. Questions 2 to 4 ask about your brand name, your products and services, and your target demographics, and what you're currently doing in the digital space. So usually when persons are searching for something, I have a need, I don't know your brand, and if I've never heard of you before, then I'm going to be typing in a service. If you are not in the digital space, then there are certain disadvantages that you're at. When persons use Google, which has now replaced the directory and everything else, or a younger target market may use Instagram, because you know Instagram and Facebook right now, it's what's on hand, it's what's open on my phone, so it's the first place I look. If you're not present in those spaces, then you lose out. For example, when someone is searching for a dermatologist in Jamaica, one thing to know about Google is that it optimizes persons who have a website over those who don't. So you may be registered on Google and you may have your Google Maps and stuff, but if you don't have a website, you don't even have a chance of coming in the top 3 to 5, which is where most people click. So looking into how the public engages with you and where they can find your contact information online in the digital space is very important. And again, it's not restricted to social media only. You have Google business profiles, you have your LinkedIn, you have blogs. Once your contact information is out in the digital space, then Google picks it up, but it's about how you optimize it and where you show up. So where people search, keywords that they use, the services that you reference, and whether or not you have a current website or not is all important to how you're found. So you need to assess yourself as to whether you're currently active in the digital space in these areas and how easy it is for someone to find you. So something you could do is search yourself. You can Google yourself or Google the service that you offer and see where your current digital presence comes up, if it does at all, and then we'll go through in later weeks how you optimize where you're showing up in the digital space. Questions 5 and 6 speak about your per month budget for marketing. A lot of persons, we would have put options there, a lot of persons picked $10,000 to $15,000 Jamaican per month. Now, why we ask about your average transaction value per customer is that when you're using digital technology, it allows you to basically monetize the cost in a better way than traditional marketing. So if your cost to acquire a customer is more than what the customer is going to spend with you, then it doesn't make any sense. Right away, your business model is going to be in trouble, because what you spend in traditional marketing, I mean, I know everybody knows the cost of what TV commercials and radio ads. I don't know anybody ever call Glean and ask them how much for your ad because it's very cost intensive. And for those of us who are small, is us alone, or you know, it's a team of 3, it's a family business, we don't have those resources. And what's worse is that when you do that, you put out that ad, you get a call or you get 10 calls tomorrow. You don't know how many of them are calling you from the ad. So you don't know what your advertising dollar is getting you at all. There's no way to trace these high cost factors for acquiring your customers. So what happens is digital has allowed us to balance our models better because it has given us free digital channels, Instagram, Facebook, blogs, websites, etc., or free or minimal cost, one-time spends, not recurring costs, and definitely not prohibitive costs where things like billboards, the cost to set up as a trade show, not to mention pay staff for the trade show for the 3 days. And it's not to say that these things don't have merit, but it's about measuring your ROI. And so for a trade show, for example, you'd still want to be able to track. You'd still want to collect persons' email addresses and still be able to follow up with them after. So there are merits to the traditional way of doing things, but at the same time, there is a better way to monetize your business model, and we're going to get into that. Strategic partnerships, content marketing, being able to analyze your data and being able to follow up and come again, wheel and come again. Something didn't work, you can recalibrate and you can basically decide what worked for you and what didn't, and you can continue along the lines that are yielding more fruit for you. So essentially, we are going to be taking you through all of these points throughout the couple weeks that we'll be together. And we definitely want you to take heed and do the math with us. Apply it to your own business and to your own budgets, to your own numbers. So your average cost per client, go back through your invoices and divide it by the amount of persons who you did business with for a month, for a quarter, for a year, and try and work back what your average customer transaction is if you don't already know. As well, it will help you to determine now what part of your margin or what part of your profit you can now put back into the business to market. And it helps you to gauge the cost of acquiring a customer much better. So if over the life of your relationship with the client, they're going to spend $25,000 with you, if the cost of acquiring them eats too much into that profit, then you're going to have a problem. So these numbers and these metrics will definitely assist you in being able to balance that situation. So the next slide that I have up here talks about and relates to the budget that a lot of persons who filled out the assessment selected. If you look at it, my questions are here, and I want everybody to respond. So if your budget is $10,000 to $15,000 a month for marketing, for 2,700 Jamaican dollars roughly, you could maybe do 5 campaigns. How many flyers do you think you could print for 3,000 Jamaican dollars? Anybody? Rough estimate, a small flyer or even business cards. How many touch points do you think you'd get out of printing flyers for that cost?
Maybe about 250.
Maybe about 250. So you have 250 flyers. Definitely can't book any TV or radio ads for 2,700 Jamaican dollars. Definitely no newspaper ads. And even if you could, unless you had a dedicated phone number or email address using those ads, it would be very difficult to track the cost of acquiring a lead or a client from those channels. But there is a way to realistically do this, and we're going to go through that as you develop your digital marketing strategy. And so I'm going to pull up the digital version of what this $2,700 spend would look like and the results it can yield. So your business can acquire customers for significantly less than the amount you monetize them for, especially for those of you whose average transaction per client is significantly high and you have large margins. And so I'm going to show you an example of a client that we have recently started working with. They would have met with us and started their digital strategy on July 30th, 2020. And this is a real live example. We would have taken over one of her digital channels and started on July 30th. We would have spent that same 2,700 Jamaican dollars and run one ad for 3 days. And these are the results. It's full, we can track it, and then we can calculate how much it cost her to acquire these customers. So you can see the numbers there, and I'm going to skip right down to the baseline. So after all the expenses and her ad is run, she has 8 orders. And let us say these 8 people bought the least expensive item she has, which was $2,500. Her cost to acquire these 8 clients was just $337.50. And the cheapest item that she has, and you know, this is an assumption, somebody could have bought the most expensive item or a mid-range item, but her, at the very least, her revenue would have been $20,000 coming from these 8 clients. Now, when you minus the cost of what it costs her to run this one ad, her margin is not significantly impacted. Whereas if she had done this through trying to print 250 flyers for the same 2,700 Jamaican dollars, she would not have had this exposure. And her conversion rate certainly would have trickled down to way less than 8 people coming out of 250, just based on how persons interact with flyers. We put them in our bags, we throw them away, they end up on the sidewalk, they end up in the car, them lost in the bottom of the handbag. So I want you to look at this exposure, look at how the numbers trickle down, and start to think about how even the smallest amount of allocation and reinvestment into your business from your monthly revenues can drive traffic, can drive additional revenue, and get your messaging out in front of persons so that you can start engaging and you can start growing your business. Any questions so far?
What type of business was this?
This is a meat supplier. So essentially before coronavirus, she was supplying meat cuts. She's a farmer to hotels. And when the hotels closed, all of a sudden, her customer base dried up. So now we would have gone through and created some retail packages and some box deals and just started less than a month now with her. Basically 3 weeks, and now here we are. She has gone from 20 followers to 94 in that short space of time. Her engagement in terms of persons messaging her for sending them a price list via email, questions about whether she delivers or not, all of that engagement started from a digital strategy and $2,700, and we have not actually since done another paid ad on the platform. And so there's also residual, because when she started at 20 and got the 51 follows from that campaign, it means that there's a balance of additional followers that got her up to the 94 even after the paid ad ended, just because she was in front of more eyes. 36 people saved the ad to their phone, which means that they're probably going to reference it back for another day when they're ready to order. So these are things you can measure. And this is the importance and the value that digital gives to you. And a lot of platforms, not just social media, give you these metrics. Emails, blogs, it can show you all the back-end information of where your money is going and whether it's working or not. And then maybe you shift that $3,000 somewhere else if you try this and this didn't work. Then you know maybe this is not where your customer is, but it's a lot of trial and error. All right, next slide. So that's the needs assessment. And so what's next is step 2. So I hope all of you have clicked on the link. Has everybody here now clicked on the link in the chat to do their needs assessment to get their responses back?
No.
Hello? No?
I don't recall seeing that in the chat.
All right, look in the chat. Samantha, can you reshare, or Shani, can you reshare the link for them? I think it may have gone further up.
Who is it that wants to send it directly?
All right, and then as you go through, as I said, we'll be using the responses once you get them back. We'll be using them throughout the next couple of weeks, throughout this session, certainly, to refer back to. So it's important that you have them there. So as we go on to step 2, which is the core of what we're looking at today, is to define your unique selling proposition. And essentially what that means is, what makes you different? What's your why? Karen, why did you, I assume since your business is new as a real estate dealer, why did you opt to do your broker's license and start your own real estate firm rather than staying attached as a real estate salesman?
Well, I wanted to maximize my return, my income. So that's one of the main reasons why
Okay.
I opted to do that.
All right. And do you think that as a salesman, no broker, that there is something about your service or your expertise that sets you above others?
Yes, right. I thought
What would that be?
I thought I was not optimizing my value, you know, for the service that I brought, or my expertise and experience that I brought to the industry. And therefore, you know, it was a given that the moment I could reach the next level in the business, that was where I was going to end up, or that was where I was aiming for.
Okay. So what I want you to do, Karen, and others know when we go into this exercise, this is your how and your why. And if you don't know them, then you won't be able to tell a client about doing business with you. So Karen, you're a new broker. How do you compete with the larger franchises then that are here? Why do I use you and not Coldwell Banker? What is it about you? What do you do differently? What is your vision that would make me say, oh, can't bother with this Coldwell Banker, you know, why am I going to go with you? This is what it's about. You need to be able to verbalize that to a client, to say, you know, I personalize service. You're not going to wait 10 days for a call or email to come back. And so you start drilling down into what your unique selling proposition is. Let me call on somebody else who I recognize. Sandra? You here with us, Sandra?
Hello, you mean Sandra McLeish?
Hi, Sandra McLeish. My maiden name is Car, and we came across each other while I was doing Lux Cosmetics at right, and you know my mom.
Yes.
So I'm very familiar with your brand.
Awesome.
What is the vision and some of the values of your brand that would cause me to switch from buying my Grace Ketchup or my Kraft Thousand Island to your brand?
Oh, that's an easy one. First of all, it's Jamaican, using Jamaican inputs that are freshly sourced versus some of our competitors who bring things in from overseas in large vats. They're not Jamaican at all. And so it's very little difference between one of the ketchups and another. For ours, we use pumpkin ketchup. So we're very high in vitamins and minerals. And we also allow persons to experience Jamaica in a new and exciting way.
So when we start looking at these core commitments, guys, your mission, your vision, and your values, what you stand for, you know, locally sourced, ethically sourced, that kind of core belief of what drives your business, it translates into how you share your brand in the digital space. The things that you share, articles, pages that your brand follows, other articles that you reshare, and all of that information starts to compile what I call your digital footprint. It's how you show up in the digital space when somebody types your name as the owner or your brand, your business name into a search engine. Whether it is, I mean, if you reshare articles on LinkedIn, it shows up if persons are looking hard enough. And it has affected a lot of persons. We've seen it with celebrities all the time where they can go back 10 years to an offensive tweet. And that makes up your digital footprint. So we have to be careful of how we show up in digital spaces, but we can mold it and we can definitely control it. How many persons here have their vision statement, mission statement, and their core values or their culture documented?
Does it count if I want to revisit it? It's more than 5 years old, so I
Yes,
definitely want to.
it counts, but
Okay.
it does need to be revisited, which is a mistake that
Yes.
a lot of businesses make as well,
Yes.
because as you grow, it may change.
Can I also add, Deborah, just very quickly, that one of the things that I was reluctant to share earlier, and I'm now very proud of, is the fact that I'm very pro women in terms of the businesses that I do. So I seek out female entrepreneurs, and even that translates to the farmers I buy from. I seek out female farmers, and I used to be much more shy about sharing that, but I started out as a female farmer, and so I actually have now started very strongly using that in my marketing.
And so, guys, I hope you're seeing the connections here. That's a value of your business, and that's a value of you as an owner, where you're passionate about women who are in business. And it may stem from maybe a bad experience you had, so you want to not have other women go through that experience. But these are the stories that people want to hear. And so if you don't have these down, and later down in the presentation we're gonna go through the questions and how to word these and how you start. But anyone else want to share, do you or do you not have your mission, vision, and values set? And it sounds very basic, but this is a guiding light to how you're going to show up in any space, whether digital or traditional, because gone are the days where people are being sold to. We want information, we want advice, we want expertise, and people are now, as you said, gearing towards women empowerment, woman owned business, black owned business. So how are the values that you have for your business and have as a person showing up in your marketing? Or is there anyone who wants to admit that they haven't done it yet? So you have your business plan maybe, or your business model, but you haven't done your core commitments.
Well, I can say that I have not done it. And this is something that worries. This is Vinette Allen.
Hi, Vinette. Okay.
Right. And I'm a small family business, but I really do not think that I enjoy marketing at that part of the business, but yet I am supposed to be doing it.
Okay.
But I definitely don't like it. So I am attending this session because I really want to get into the space, because I know that is something I don't have the capital to really do
engage
the big ones. So what you have been speaking about is something that I really want to do, and as a result I'm going to step out of where I've been hiding.
That's great to hear, Vinette. And the best part about this is this that I'm talking about, this isn't marketing. This is you. What do you value? You value family. It's a family business. What do you, so that's not marketing yet. It's the driving force behind your business. And so you'll find when you start going through this, it's a lot easier than you think it is. So don't block yourself to think that it's marketing. What this will help you to do is make your marketing a lot easier, because your values and your vision and your mission will drive exactly what it is you want to say. Because as I said, gone are the days where you post, buy this for $10,000. Call me, email me. Gone are those days. In the digital space, people want to hear your stories. People want to hear what you believe in, what you're passionate about. People want to put a face to the name. And so when you start showing up in these core commitments, it makes your digital marketing so much easier, because you don't have to worry about the look and feel of what your brand is. You've already written it down. So that's the importance of this exercise. It's not marketing. It's what's driving your business. And then this strategy of what drives your business is just about how you communicate it. And that's what marketing is. So you don't have to have a mental block to the fact that you don't like marketing, but this is your business. And if you're passionate about your business, then doing this exercise is going to be a lot easier than you think it is. So let's go through the vision statement. Essentially, very quickly, it's a future state. It's close your eyes and money is no object. What do you want your business to be? Money is absolutely no object. Space is no object. Geographic location is no object. Somebody share with me their vision. Even if you don't have it as a statement, what's the vision for your business? Anybody? Let me call on the
Sure.
No,
Sure.
I'll share.
Okay.
Okay.
Christine or Judy?
Go ahead, Judy.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Judy Benjamin. I'm also a real estate broker. So my vision statement is to become the first Jamaican real estate company with branches throughout the Caribbean. We'll focus on service and customer care as our growth will be determined by the needs of our people.
Okay, Judy, that's very good. But my question would be then, what's your mission? If that's your vision.
My mission is, we believe in real estate as a store of wealth, an instrument of financial mobility, and a source of security. We believe it is possible for all people to access the benefits of real estate. As such, we will respect the preparation process, the acquisition, the disposal process, and all the activities involved to ensure property ownership, wealth creation, and security.
All right, so as we go through this exercise, Judy, you may find that when you rephrase this according to what we're going to go through, your vision may actually be your mission and vice versa. That overarching definition of real estate and wealth and empowerment and what it can do for someone, that's a vision. And then your mission is your day-to-day, the markets that you're in, all the different locations and how you execute your service, that's your mission. So you may end up, when you're rephrasing them and reworking them, because this is something that doesn't happen, it doesn't happen overnight, and it changes, just like your business plan should change. And so when we go through the fact that your vision statement should describe the future of the organization, and the aspirations and what you hope to achieve long term, you may find that aspects of your mission belong in your vision and vice versa.
Okay, well, this is my first draft, so
no problem, and it's a good,
to move.
and guess what, a lot of people never start, so your first, it gets only easier from here, right? So let's go through this. So it's a future state, future of your organization. As I said, you close your eyes and your vision with no barriers, what your business should be. So Imagen's vision is to effect a global entrepreneurial revolution by empowering Caribbean businesses to participate in the global marketplace. So we're based in Jamaica, and right now I only serve Jamaican companies, but my vision is Caribbean businesses, supporting them and empowering them to go on that global scale. So your vision, and as I said, you're picking out, there's a statement in your mission that talks about real estate and its ability to empower and create wealth. That is an overarching vision. And then
my thought was that the vision statement would be what you see the company doing, what you want it to be, futuristic, which means we want to be the first real estate company who serve in the Caribbean and what our focus will be, whereas the mission is what we believe real estate is. You understand? So I guess
you go through, right, so there are parts that are right and parts that when we work through it, you realize that there are statements and phrases that belong in the other one. So definitely one that talks about the different markets that you want to serve.
Yes.
That's your mission, because your mission, when we move on, speaks to what the day-to-day operations are. So let's go through some of these. LinkedIn.
Before you move on, I want
Sure.
to hear hers. She said that her vision statement is to produce world-class entertainment suitable for the entire family.
Okay, that's a good vision to have, and as I said, it's not specific to her day-to-day operation. So now her mission can be derived from that to say how, or what is it that she's going to do to achieve the vision, because that's it. Your vision is the end, it's the ultimate, and then your mission is the road, how you're going to get there. So usually I tell persons to envision a mountain at the end of the road. So the vision is the mountain and the mission is the road. So who are your clients, where do you serve, and all the things that you do in your day-to-day operations and all your plans to get to the vision. And the vision is that it's almost, I've read something before that said that your vision should be almost impossible or even 100 years into the future.
Yeah.
It's something that is inspirational and aspirational for your team to work towards. And so which is why your mission changes as you accomplish different things towards your vision. So these companies, these are their vision statements. And I'm sure maybe with the exception of GoDaddy, I would hope everybody would be familiar with LinkedIn and Amazon. So LinkedIn says to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. That's it. Just everybody needs to make some money, and that's what we want to help you do. It doesn't speak to what they do or how they're going to do it. That's the mission. GoDaddy talks about radically shifting the global economy towards small business empowerment. And GoDaddy allows you to buy your domain name and own your website. You realize that their vision statement does not talk about what industry they're in. It doesn't talk about anything to do with the fact that it's a web-based company. It doesn't mention the internet, nothing. Sometimes for vision statements too, what you can talk about is your ideal effect or impact of change on what your ideal society would look like. So Amazon is talking about to be the earth, the whole earth, most customer-centric company, and persons can discover anything that they may want to buy online. And that's not how they started, but that's certainly what they're moving towards now. And so what you realize is that when you read visions, I'm going to ask everybody to look up some of the brands that you like and engage with and find their vision statements and their mission statements, etc., and start to look up for how they show up in the digital space and if it corresponds with what they do. Because certainly for Amazon, we see where they do a lot of this alignment, where this mission and this vision translates into a lot of what they're doing in the day-to-day space. It's now there you can order your groceries. It's like you can buy the clothes and try them on and return them if they don't fit. It's so focused on the customer, and they're living up to that. So that's your vision statement. Your mission now defines the purpose and guides the day-to-day operations. It guides how your stakeholders are treated. It defines how your employees align around your goals. And so those statements about customer service, we see that a lot in mission statements. We see convenience as a word used in customer service, in mission statements a lot. And so I've used back the same LinkedIn brand to show the difference with what their mission is, to connect the world's professionals, to make them more productive. And so you realize they've gone a little more focused into the fact that, yes, they want to empower people in the global marketplace, but now we're specific to professionals because, you know, LinkedIn is that platform where you upload your resume and your network, etc. So they've narrowed down into who is their customer and what they want the customer to experience with them, which is increased productivity. Twitter, we certainly know they're living up to this mission to give everyone the power to create and share ideas and information instantly without barriers. And sometimes that is dangerous, but they are fulfilling that mission. Any questions so far about the mission and the vision? Everybody is clear on these?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
All right, so what if I just have a statement? Because my online store is totally digital, so most of what you're saying I can relate to, right? My statement is based on the branding of my store. So I have 4 different brands for my store that I use, and each brand have its own statement. So,
but those are your products. This is Tans Infinity, correct?
Cans Infinity is my business name, but
Okay.
I have brands underneath Cans Infinity. So for each brand, I have a statement. So based on what you're explaining now, is it that I would need to divide the statements into mission, visions, and values, or I can have one statement that covers all three aspects?
I think that your business, I think you need to define. So for example, you may have different brands, as in different products and different services under an overarching business name. I think the easiest way to start is to have a vision and mission for the overall business, and then you can delve down into breaking down the statements for each brand, just depending on what you offer. But at a glance, because during the introductions, I would have started looking at your digital space handles. Your store actually is about wellness. So I saw TLC products, I saw a lot of other wellness products, and so your vision and your mission in terms of what you want to achieve, how you want to help people by offering these clients, wouldn't be difficult to address. And then as you go through your brands now, you can break that down into what you want, what you think the messaging for each of these brands or each of these products is. But your business as a whole, you can do the vision and mission statement for that first, and then you can delve down into the individual brands later. Answered the question?
Okay.
Okay. All right, no problem. So let us move right along to value statements and points of culture. Now, this is one of my favorite ones because this is where you start to get down into where you can pull your content from. So points of culture highlight you or your business core principles and the philosophical ideals. It's used to guide the decisions that you make as owners and managers, the behaviors of your team, what you want your business to look like to your client. And I used to have this idea that I would want my culture to permeate my office space. So we have a lot of designers and consultants on hand who don't work in our office personally, but I'd love when they come to the office to be comfortable. So I'd want bean bags on the floor, and I don't want them at a desk and a chair. But that's because our culture is that openness and relaxed, where it's flexible. My staff doesn't work in a physical office. A lot of it is digital. We communicate by project management softwares and emails. So when they do decide to come into the office, you want that same kind of flexibility to permeate into that space. In the same way, depending on how you want your team to operate, how you want your customers to feel, how you want your partners to view your business, that guides your points of culture. So for example, for Sandra, one of her points of culture may be to support women-owned businesses. And so it will come across not only in her day-to-day activities, but then it starts to come across in how she communicates in the digital space, when she starts to share her experience and testimonials with these women-owned businesses, when she starts to talk about supporting women-owned businesses and posting them, that all of these points of culture start to influence how you show up in this digital space. So for those of you who have your mission and vision already, are there any businesses here that have their culture statements or points of culture already? All right, so this is the fun part. What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that you want persons to experience? What do you want to tell them? Because everybody has something to say. That's what digital marketing is about. As I said before, it's no longer about, I do this, call me. It's about, hey, this is what I stand for. This is why you should engage with me, or this is why I engage with these persons, and this is how I do business. Your culture or your core values permeates and starts to influence your marketing. But the truth is that it's your business. It's how you feel about your brand. It's what you want your brand to be. And it's really about using all those things that are important to you. So if you value customer service, because everybody have customer service on them cultural values, but Jamaica has one of the worst customer service ratings in the world, right? So what happens is that the points of culture and these missions and visions, we create them as owners, but we don't align our teams and we don't communicate them. So hands up for those of you who go into these business places and see the mission and vision statement in these lovely frames, but they're nowhere else to be seen. Anybody ever had that experience before? You go into an office and behind the receptionist desk, you see the big mission and vision in the big expensive frame, but it does not permeate into the experience that you have maybe with the receptionist or maybe when you call them on the phone.
A lot of people are saying in the chat that they've experienced that, Deborah.
Mm-hmm. Repeat?
I said a lot of people are saying in the chat that they've experienced that. They've had that experience.
I've had that experience.
The vision and the values don't align with the experience.
They don't. And we have to be careful of that, because that's how you start to get bad reviews and bad reputations and persons. It just becomes something symbolic, and that's what you don't want. It becomes something that you just wrote, Sandra, 5 years ago, so we need to rework it. 10 years ago when the business just started and was a dream. It's something that you need to look at maybe every 6 months. It needs to be everywhere. It needs to be on your letterheads. It needs to be on your flyers. It needs to be, even if you derive just a tagline from it, it needs to permeate through your service and through the experience that you actually engage your customer in. And you need to communicate it so that your customers can hold your team to it, because a lot of times we create them, you step back, you're running the strategy, and your team is now engaging with your customers. But if your team is not aligned, and if your team doesn't know your mission and your vision, then your team can't deliver. So a lot of us need to have an alignment session, email the vision and the mission to the team. The company that I'm attached to with my license give away prizes if you can come and recite the points of culture at the monthly meetings. You get what I'm saying? So it's all about how it permeates and how it starts to affect the service that you deliver, the products that you deliver, and your digital, what you show up in digital. Because the truth is, digital is just a channel. And you don't want to put something out there that's not real. So you want to ensure that you are current, and you want to ensure that it's something that's true. So what's the connection? The connection, if you would look at what I have here, I'm sure that the members of the team can identify these excerpts. Financial services with a core of love, without even telling you which financial institution this is. You already know.
JMMB.
Okay. You understand though? You realize that there's no logo, there's not, but you understand when you close your eyes and you think about a bank that talks about love all the time in all of their messaging, it permeates. It's not just a sign on their wall in an office. It permeates everything. It permeates the imaging that they use. It permeates all of their digital platforms. And these are all the different digital platforms. 2 of these images are from their website and 2 are from one of their other social media platforms. But what you see is that there's a rigorous, and when we started the session, I was happy that a team member read part of, I think it's their vision of love, because it permeates, even in something as simple as this meeting. It's a starting point. It's a launch pad. And I'm so glad that it happened, because that is exactly what this exercise is. Your vision and mission and core values is your launching pad for your marketing. How you show up in the digital space, how you show up in the physical space in the office, how you show up in your customer service. It starts from what's your why? I want to I'm a real estate agent. I want to deliver the best service this person has ever had. So you need to know what their pain points are. Them take forever to send you the email with the listings. They take forever to get your documents. That, you know, what are the pain points? And when you're going through your mission and your vision and your points of culture, you want to address those pain points for the client and communicate that in your marketing. And that is how you get persons to engage, because now you have communicated that there's a problem I have that you solve, or there's a value that we share, that we both value customer service, or we both value women in business. So these things start to give you common touch points with the audience that you're going after. And that's how you start to put your strategy together. And that's how you start to figure out who you're really targeting, and sometimes who you want your client to be, because there are clients right now who sometimes you just want them to keep their money. They don't align with your values. They don't align with who your ideal client should be. And so sometimes it's better to leave that money alone. But if you don't have those values defined, sometimes you reach too far along with that customer. You don't know how to get out of the trouble that you may be in with them. And so defining these things from the get-go, or even now, helps you in the future. So everybody good so far?
Yes.
Any questions?
No.
All right, so moving right along. So this is where I told you, I'd give you a little help. For those of you who still feel a little daunted by each of these things, we're gonna take a little time, and you can share in the chat, some of these things. 3 words that describe your business, 3 qualities that you want your business to embody, 3 qualities that set you apart. And these exercises help you to start thrashing out what your vision is. And then, as I said, it's not a one-time deal. You don't sit down and just write it and it's miraculous and it happens. I would advise, for those of you who have teams, who are family-based, that you do it together. Because, as I said, alignment is important. So if you have a team and they're core to how your business operates, involve them, because it makes no sense that you are the owner and just dictating what it is. There may be values that are important to them too, and because they are in the day-to-day with your customers, they can also identify the values that your customers value. And I have it here in culture, because lining up your values with what you think your customer appreciates is also key. So it's not just about what you value, but part of coming up with your points of culture will be what's important to the client as well. So I think at this point, you guys can take 5 minutes to just jot these down. You don't have to do all of them, but I would suggest that we are going to send this presentation out. The JMMB team already has it, and that you go through these exercises. And as I said, when you're refining them now, for example, with the vision, you see where the questions start to give you the context. So your vision is future state. What kind of future society do we want to see? What do we want to achieve in the future? Where is the business going? That's the vision. The mission talks about what you do now. What do you do today? What impact do you make? And then your values talk about what you value as an individual. And that's important as the owner. What you value, what you want your team to value, what you want your customers to value, because that also will help in the next week's presentation when we talk about who your ideal client is. This comes up because you want some alignment there, or you want your ideal customer to operate in a certain way, as well as the values that you want the business to abide by. So of course, that customer service, customer focus always comes up when persons are talking about these points of culture, but we want it to be something that comes out for real in the business, comes out for real in your marketing and your digital campaigns. And so we're going to take 5 minutes, guys, and work through some of these, and then we can share in the chat. Or anybody can share verbally with me as well.
Yeah, I was just going to share, Deborah, you were speaking about creating your vision and your mission with your team. We read earlier the vision of love that you referred to, and I know that that document was actually originally created by a team of JMMB team members. So just to support what you are saying, that it really is good to have your team buy into the company's vision.
For sure, because you as an individual, you sit down and you create it and you force feed it to somebody, and they don't buy in, and so they're not aligned, and on the day-to-day, they're not interacting with it every day, and because they were not a part of it, or it's not something that's very important to them, then it falls by the wayside and it doesn't translate into how the business operates, and it just becomes something else that you did. But what we want to do is have it make this foreign concept for some persons who may have never done their own marketing or are afraid of it to become much easier, because all it is communicating what's important to you, but you have to define it first.
Neil is actually asking if his mission and his vision statement can be the same.
I've never seen it done that way, but it depends. It may be too long, because if we're talking about digital, let's say, and I want to create an Instagram post with your statement, with your mission statement, if you've combined both your vision and your mission, then it's not digestible for a digital platform that's something like Instagram or Facebook, where they start to limit your captions and limit your words and stuff like that. So you may on paper you could combine it, but then once we start getting into the different channels, you may end up breaking it down for the purpose of content.
Well, maybe what we can do is, Anya, would you like to share what it is that you created? Just so that we can see if it's usable.
For sure, and then we can also give him tips as to break it up or don't break it up, that kind of thing. Or as I said, you can have it as a whole statement on paper, but when it comes to, as I said, the different channels and how you share it and communicate it, because that's really where we're going. Once you have these things down, how do you share it with the customer and have the customer know that this is what you do and what you stand for? Then you need to break it into bite sizes. So the earlier you break it down, the easier it is for the communication, because if you're going into something that's a paragraph, then you're gonna come again to another exercise to break it down into content.
But it's actually very short. It's fusing your lifestyle with technology.
That's a tagline. That's a tagline. So that's still not talking about the qualities of your business. How? Based on what problem are you solving? So I'm fusing my life with technology. Maybe I think my life is fused enough with technology and I don't need to fuse it anymore. How? Why? What's the problem you're solving? Because if you tell my husband that his life is fully fused with technology, so you would need to break down why he would need to engage you, what else, so that is more of a tagline, and that's actually already very well written. It's nice and bite-sized, but I think that's more of a tagline for your brand, and we'll go into that further in the presentation when we're looking at the brand checklist that you've kind of almost extracted from your mission or your vision. So I think you need to go through this exercise and talk about the 3 words that describe your business and 3 qualities. Okay, so I fuse my life with technology. Are you overpriced? Or are you affordable? Right? Because those are the qualities you want to start talking about. Providing affordable technology to make your life easier.
So Anil has some homework to do for the next session.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody has this homework to do, because and we'll be open. You guys send us the emails, send us the information. We'll help you through it. We will give you feedback, as I said. But starting and having something, O'Neill, it's not to say that what you have isn't good, but it may not be what you think is already a vision or a mission, as I said, but you've checked the box for your tagline for sure. So you already have that, Pat.
I see Judy has
question. Yes, I have a question.
If
Oh, sorry.
No, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Yes, my
Okay.
question is if your business is two-part, because I have where we're contractors, as I'd explained earlier, to flow. We do construction of cable line, and we also sell solar water heater. How do we know, how do I write this vision to capture both aspects of the business?
That's easy. I am also two-part business. So we do custom branding. So we print on promotional materials and we do marketing consultancy. So there is a product side and a service side. But I have one vision and have one mission, because at the end of the day, what is it that you're trying to achieve? Your product and your services are just a byproduct of that. So if you are trying to serve, in this case, you serve a business, you're a business to business customer because you're serving flow. And then it starts to think about, as I said, this same exercise. What is it that what's your vision? Why did you start the business? You realize that those questions and why me as Flo choose you as a contractor over somebody else. What is it that you do? Is it your expertise, your years of expertise over somebody else? Is it your accessibility that when they pick up the phone and call you, you respond quicker than another contractor? Those are the things that you start to talk about in your vision and your mission and your core values. It's less about the fact that you offer more than one product or service. It's what you're trying to achieve. Why did you start the business? What's your purpose? What's the reason?
Thank you.
No problem.
So I'll also share Leighton's vision. Leighton is to transform the construction industry regionally, one project and one person at a time.
That's a great vision statement. So what's the mission? How?
Leighton, do you want to go ahead and share your mission?
Or if you don't have it now, the guiding line now is always your vision is your why and your overarching. So you want to transform the industry. How? Through great customer service, through providing my customers with exceptional service, through it's always about the road that's going to get you to the end goal. So that transformation is the vision. So what's the mission? What you're going to do every day? What are the building blocks that are going to build you to the top of the vision? And that is how you write your mission. And so essentially you find that your mission statement becomes a lot longer than your vision, because your mission starts to be little by little, through my team and ensuring that my team does this and my team does that to provide this to the customer. So it starts to look at the facets of your business, and sometimes you may find points of your culture show up in your mission statement. That's fine too. But as long as there's an alignment where you kind of see everything, the road being the mission, how you get there, how you do it day by day, and the vision being that overarching, as I said, no holds bars, no barrier, no cost. Close your eyes. And if your business got 50 million US dollars tomorrow, what would it be? And then your mission is how you spend the $50 million over the next 50 years.
I have a question. I'm looking at your slide. And the vision, I always thought the vision should be something that's futuristic, not achieved in the first day, but something that you're aspiring to. But when I look at the slide, because I'm trying to put mine together a little bit differently. The vision is 3 words that describe your business, 3 qualities you want your business to embody, and 3 qualities that set you apart.
That's a starting, no man, this is the starting point. This is just to help you start crafting it.
Okay.
So the refine, if you look at the refining questions now, the refinement is where, so the refining questions is where are we going forward? What do you want to achieve and what kind of future society, that bigger impact. But this is how you start. So for persons who are afraid to start and feel like they don't know where to start, the 3-word exercise gets your brain.
Okay.
Yeah, jump start. All right, guys. So we're going to move along, but as I said, this is an exercise that everybody can use to start. And we go from there. So I wanted to share these local examples with you of how that further information about the connection now. So these companies have their mission, vision, and values. And they're so easy to find, and their stories are out there. So for example, Wisinko has how they posted that their team came up with the acronym for their values. And what I've done is pull posts from their different digital platforms to show how their culture, for example, in this one, shows up in their digital space. So remember I said that gone are the days where your marketing is focused on your product. Nowhere in this do you really see what Wisinko really sells, because they're not trying to sell soda and water and anything else right now. What they're trying to do is show you that they are about our culture, they're about respect, they're about integrity and passion. And so, for example, their Be the Bigger Person campaign is a campaign that they align with their Bigger Soda, which teaches children to manage conflict and to rise above conflict in situations that may happen in the schoolyard. But it's directly aligned with the fact that bigger is a soda. So right away, they have used one of their cultural values to permeate the school market, because now anywhere them go and then put the Be the Bigger Person, they have that school participating. That school probably sells bigger at the cafeteria, but it's not a picture of a soda. Similarly, with their eco campaign, their guiding principles speak to the environment, and because they're a local manufacturer, it not only does it help their cost that you return your plastic bottles and recycle them, because I believe that if they don't know, they used to manufacture some of these bottles here locally, or they used to source them locally. It brings their costs down to actually reuse these bottles and to reprocess them. But what they've done is gotten everybody involved. And so I know that there may be people who have kids at schools where there are these Wisinko Eco locations, and they've set them up at supermarkets, and guaranteed wherever they are in the supermarket yard means that they supply that supermarket. And so they're how they show up physically and in the digital space starts to go beyond their product and saying, oh, here, buy bigger over D&G, or oh, here, buy water over Catherine Speak. It's so far beyond that, because now top of mind in terms of when persons are sourcing ethically and thinking about recycling. And I tell you this, it permeates their culture within their employees so much. My husband's mom works at Wisinko, and her recycling bag is in the kitchen and our recycling bag is on our balcony, and it permeates the culture of the employee, and it starts to permeate into the culture of the employee's family, and it spills out over into the school, because now all the environmental clubs of the schools are part of the eco exercise, and they give a cash prize to, I think, the top 5 schools who put in the most. You can see in the lower left hand corner the leaderboard from last year, all the schools that participated and the points that they had from all of these recycling activities. This has nothing to do with what they actually sell, but it has to do with that same core value and culture. So this starts to show you how you use these core values and communicate and line up with your brand. So it's no longer about just posting your product or posting a pretty picture with a bottle. It becomes so much more than that. The next example that I have is national. So I don't know if anybody knows that National has a program called the Bold Ones for small businesses, and they are very much into sponsoring small businesses to go to trade shows. So there have been trade shows where the price of the booth is very exorbitant, and persons who have participated in their Bold Ones promotion, they actually sponsor the cost of an area and have all their exhibitors in one space. So that's one thing how they show up in the physical space, but they talk about community involvement and small business development a lot. It has nothing to do with the products that they sell, but again, it comes back to it. And you see, we're small businesses, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to have $500,000 to give away. You can have $5,000 and pay for a child's CXC subject that's along the lines of what your business does. Pay for a child's CAPE subject. You get what I'm saying? But it's about what your cultural values are. So if you believe in education and you believe in national development as part of your cultural values, then these are things that start to come up in your digital space and start to show how you can be just more than, hey, here is my product. And another one now, which moves away from culture, this is about your unique value. So one of the important things about your unique value is what are you doing differently from your competitor, from an international competitor, from a local competitor, or what convenience are you offering me? So Banyan Catering, they started out doing frozen samosas in the supermarket. Now they cook, box, and vacuum seal these meals that you can now buy in the supermarket or buy online and have them delivered, and you put them in the microwave or you boil them in hot water in the packaging and it thaws out and you have dinner. So you see where I've used a different platform for them. I've shown a snip of their website to show you what they've put is as part of their mission is to offer the comfort of local and the flair of international flavors. And how they do that is these meals are fully cooked, and part of the comfort is not just familiarity. Comfort is also convenience. So it's delivered. You don't have to leave the house. It's already cooked. So you're working from home and you're homeschooling and you never have time to cook, and you put it in the hot water, you put it in the microwave, and dinner is ready. So it's aligned from their Instagram page to say it's ready to eat. It's allied to say in this experience now during Corona, you know, you're working from home and you're running late, you don't have time, to the fact that you can now order it online and it's delivered and it shows you all the touch points. So this is more product focused, but it shows you how it converts from a statement they made into how they communicate it in the digital space. So the comfort of delivery, the convenience of quick, and it's still your Jamaican stew peas, oxtail, curry goat would normally take so long to cook. I don't even have a pressure cooker, so I don't know how long it would take to cook it without a pressure cooker, but I am sure that the value that they're giving to me to be able to just get it at the nearest supermarket or order it online is a unique value to customers that's different from some of their competitors who either sell it frozen but it's not cooked, or they don't deliver, or they're not in as many locations. So all of these things are how you can convert what we're talking about with your mission, vision, and cultural values into your digital stories. And it doesn't matter, as I said, we're not focusing on the channels that they use. I've used websites, I've used Facebook, I've used Instagram to pull all these examples. So it's not just social media. And as we go through the subsequent weeks, we'll pull blogs and vlogs and how that helps to create you as an expert and authority in your industry. So as I keep saying, it's no longer about what you do or what you make. It's about the stories you tell. It's about what's the benefit. So buy this water over that water. Why? It's cleaner, it's healthier, it's this, it's that. We recycle and the competitors don't. You get what I'm saying? It's moved beyond the product itself. Everybody good so far?
Yes.
Yes,
Anybody
we are.
getting some ideas, some light bulb moments of things that you can do now that move away from choose me?
Definitely. Definitely.
All right.
Actually, Deborah, Leighton actually shared his mission statement in the chat
Okay.
with everyone. So it's to consistently deliver innovative solutions reinforced by responsive client service and a commitment to quality and excellence.
All right, and then I see he's shared his points of culture as well, which is good. Responsiveness, dependability, dedication, collaboration, creativity, ethics, training and development. Those are all things now, Leighton, that you could actually break up each of these cultural points and create a post, each one. So right away you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points of content where each can either become an article, an Instagram post, a Facebook post, or a video where you talk about each of these one topics in a 2-minute video or a 30-second video or a 30-second post for different. So as you start to go through actually writing these things, you are creating your content. Quick and easy. It's not a headache, but it's easier because it's your business and it's what you're passionate about. So it doesn't feel like a strain to sit down and be like, oh God, what am I going to post today? You already have it. You have it right in front of you at your fingertips. So I look forward to seeing everybody else's own. So now, hold on, did I skip anything a while ago? Yes, okay, so we're good. So coming to the end, another 3 questions that you can add as your homework, guys. You've done and gone through and fleshed out, you know, your mission, your vision, your core values. So the next step is to talk about what's your niche area of expertise. So for example, a real estate agent goes through this exercise, but we have a designation that's called Certified International Property Specialist, CIPS. So if that's your niche area of expertise, for example, maybe some of your topics start to look like relocating from the UK to Jamaica and the steps that you go through to have to get a loan and get a mortgage, or tips, things that the banks do, because a lot of times when your employment is not local, they expect a higher deposit. There's so much information. All of that expertise and areas that you're an expert in is content. You're just sharing information. So you start to position yourself as somebody who knows more than the competition. And even if you don't know more, you share more. So you're top of mind because you share more than your competitor. All your competitors share is listing. And if them in Kingston, all listing them overpriced and we can't afford them. But my grandmother lives in UK and I see your post about relocating and I share it with her, and automatically her comfort level with you over someone who's just posting properties only increases. You understand what I'm saying, where I'm going with it? Everybody? Anybody?
Yes.
All right, so your niche areas of expertise. Let me pull away from real estate to Tanique. So your TLC, your niche area of expertise, for example, women, now we're talking about weight loss, especially the COVID-19 19 pounds where everybody put on, right? What is it then, other than just buying your product, that you want to say to people through these same brands that Tans Infinity advertises? You want to talk about the benefits, the advantages. You know, there are a lot of information and literature out there about the different brands and all these weight loss supplements. So you can do comparisons. You can talk about your own experience. You can share client testimonials. You don't always have to just post. You know, the product, buy, discount, 15% off. We've moved away from that. Everybody is doing that. So what's your niche area of expertise, and have you done the research? Because that's where it starts to come down to now, is beyond your product and service, what's your qualification? Have you shared your qualifications? That's another thing, guys. If you have your qualifications, post them. Post your certificate on LinkedIn. Post your degree. Include it in your name, put your letters behind your name, stuff like that. How are you showing up in the digital space? Realtors, if you have your SIPs, put your SIPs letters behind your name. You get what I'm saying? Put your expertise out. It's the only way it starts to be the differentiator between you and who else is in the market. And then in what fields or topics do you want to be an expert? Because that's where you start to, again, you can write an ebook, you can write a blog, you can do videos and turn them into different episodes, and you can also mirror mentors, persons who have achieved what you want to achieve already, brands that have achieved what you want to achieve already, or partially. It doesn't have to be holistically, because you don't want to copy them, but you want to look at how they've showed up in the digital space and look at what may work for you and your personality and your brand. And that's also a launching pad. It's a head start. So in addition to this exercise and the unique value proposition, these 3 questions will help you to also start where your content may begin. And this checklist that I've shared as well is something that when you start to communicate your brand in the digital space, that everybody needs to have. And it is part of your value proposition. Your logo, your team headshots, your tagline, as O'Neill already has, your color schemes, and your vision, mission, and core value. So can anybody tell me what the Imagen Nation color scheme is just from this presentation?
Black and white. Black and white.
Black, white, and gold. Black, white, and gold.
Black,
Gray.
white, and gold, gray. But our brand or logo is black, white, and gold, but then tones of gray, because it starts, I mean, black, white, and gold is tiresome, but then when we start to show up in other spaces, tones of black, gray, white, different tones, light, dark, gold, light yellow, dark yellow. You get to start playing with those things. So putting together those color schemes, it doesn't have to just be the colors in your logo. You can use complementary colors as well. There is a brand that I wanted to point out. I think she was here earlier. I don't know if she still is, Janelle Pantry. If you go to her page, because as I said, I'm very familiar with some of the names here, spaces. On her Instagram digital platform, her logo is a light blue or aqua, but when you scroll up, she uses a nice fuchsia, sometimes purple, that's complementary. So your color schemes don't have to just be what your logo is. You can start to think about what colors mean in branding, and you can start to think about just what grabs people's attention. So putting these things together with visual logos, photos, color schemes, as well as your text information and your vision, mission, core values, you start to put together your brand story, what your brand looks like, what's the consistency. So when I do my presentations, you're always going to see this theme going through. My website looks like this. I try to keep all my profiles looking like this so that the communication starts to become consistent. So our areas of expertise will always drive the topics, and the topics will span across the different channels that we choose, which we'll go into when we talk about our buyer persona next week, because the buyer persona starts to talk about your age groups and your target demographics, where they live, how they use the channels, and then we can choose which channels are best for you. Because different age groups use the different social media and digital marketing platforms in a different way, and some things work for some people. So you want to already refine your topics, and then we can start to assign your topics to the different channels and assign the different types of content to the different channels. But it doesn't make any sense we start going into that much detail if you don't have a logo to put on the article, or if you don't have a logo to put on the headshot. So these are things that I would advise you use this checklist along with the exercise that you have to do for your vision, mission, and core values, and start putting your brand story together. And as I said, if you are hesitant and you're nervous about starting, mirror a brand that you admire or a mentor that you admire who's already done it, and look into how they show up in digital spaces, and then you go from there. Any questions, guys? We're basically at the end. I'm open for questions. We're basically at the end.
Deborah, just to share, Shauna just dropped her mission statement in the chat. It reads, Our mission is to invest in human capital development by providing quality education and training through practical and experiential learning. personal development and social awareness.
That's pretty good. There are points of that, Shorno. So investing in human capital development. That's very broad, and that phrase may belong in your vision, not your mission, because human capital development is global. It doesn't say workforce in Jamaica. It doesn't say workforce in the Caribbean. So that human capital development is global. That's everybody. Anybody, every human is human capital. So that overarching, very broad phrase may belong in your vision, but the through practical and experiential learning, personal development, and social awareness, definitely mission. So maybe we start to split this mission and use that first line to start what your vision is. So you can split this. But the invest, I love that too, the fact that it is an acronym. And so even that you can play on that in and of itself, just invest alone. I don't know, you remember when Proven came out, it was just black background with the word, something like that is impactful, and that's what we're talking about. Thinking beyond just, okay, Institute of Vocational Education and Skills Training. I would not have looked at that and thought invest, but because it's part of your mission now, that's a tag word, investment, and investing in HR, in human capital, in education, in training. That means that some of what you need to be talking about, it has to do with even what's going on now with human capital during coronavirus, what's happening to the human capital locally, regionally, globally. That's stuff that you can repost from the news. So it goes beyond just talking about the courses that you offer, the packages that you offer, and it starts to talk about that social awareness and personal development, lifelong learning. You have so many areas that you can focus on, Shorno. So I would refine that a little bit and start to split that mission statement with the human capital development being more in your vision, but the rest of it is on point.
Thanks for the feedback.
All right, anybody else? Anybody else want to share? Anybody have any questions? Anybody confused and afraid to say so?
Just a quick question. As it relates to the core values,
yes,
I tried to use the word invest to also to bring out what the core values that we're looking at are. Do you think that's
well, what's the investment in? What do you want to invest in?
And so for the core values, what I did was to use each of the words in invest in the acronym.
Each letter, okay.
To determine or to bring out the core values. So I would have represented innovation, and I stated how it would have been innovative, nurture, excellence in what we do in terms of being socially responsible and being team driven. So I kind of use those to kind of define what the core values are.
Okay, so where else does why the word invest, where else does it show up? Is it in your mission statement or your vision statement? What are you investing in?
It shows up also in our for the vision statement. It says that the vision of Invest is to empower individuals who access our training programs to maximize their God-given potential in achieving personal growth and economic development.
Okay, so you're in the investment. I just wanted to know why the derivative of the invest for the core values. Once there is that alignment with your vision or your mission, that there's an investment in something. If you've already spoken to what you're investing in, then it's fine to use the letters. Her letters for invest are really an acronym for the name of the business. So I don't see a conflict there.
Okay.
Right, because her invest is in Institute of Vocational Education and Skills Training. And guys, I mean, there's nothing new under the sun, so there are going to be times where it's similar to other businesses. What's important is that you ensure that you're able to communicate your differentiating factors. And when we start going into your strategy, then you start talking about, you know, is it customer service? Is it affordability? Is it experience? Is it that I hold your hand and walk you through, whereas my competitor, you're just another, you know, you're a statistic. Sometimes in small businesses, one of the best UVPs is that it's personalized service. It's one-on-one, where you can get my time for an hour, you can book a meeting with me for an hour. But if you are a large brand, sometimes, you know, you can't get anybody on the phone, and you can't get anybody to answer your email, and you email a business and it say we get back to you in 48 hours, that kind of thing. So as a small business, you have a lot of advantages to set up your unique value proposition to lend itself to the differentiating factors now on your marketable qualities that start to talk about why choose me over my competitor. And that's where this exercise should take you. So there are 3 or 4 real estate brokers in here. Each person may talk about service, but what service? Each person has experience. What experience? You have to start drilling down into the details. So you start talking about how many customers you've served, and you know, how many markets you've read upon, and that's where the sharing of information starts to help you. So as I said, I see someone else has posted, okay, Shauna posted her core values with the invest. Right. And Tanik, I know it's a lot, but the truth is that marketing and starting here is the easiest way, because this part is your business. You're not writing a marketing plan yet, but it's going to influence everything you do after this. So taking the each thing one step at a time. Your vision is first, then your mission and your core values, and you just work through it step by step. As I said, the presentation will be emailed, so you will be able to go through it at your own pace and work through it and start to save and collate everything into your Word document or your own PowerPoint document. So at the end of the 4 weeks, you kind of have a cohesive document that has addressed all the different things we've talked about. So take your time. As I said, the information is going to be a lot, but the exercises and what you're actually going to do to put pen to paper now starts to become a lot simpler, because it's you, it's what you're passionate about, and it's what you want to do as a business. So a lot of what we've shared has examples, and when you start to sift through the presentation, you realize that there is a very basic principle. It's just questions and answers. What is important to you? What are you passionate about? And you start to write your responses. And as I said in the vision, that's why I stated it like that. 3 words, 3 qualities, just list them, and it starts to become a lot easier than trying to sit down and write a paragraph. And yes, Paulette says that JMMB is here to assist. A shameless plug, but it's true, guys. You know, reach out, because the truth is these are things that, as you say, you have to show up if later on you want to sell your business or you want to get a loan and stuff. When you have to submit business plans and marketing plans and stuff, these are core foundation stuff that you have to have.
As I'm actually going to put you on the spot, since quite a few persons are sharing their vision and their mission statement. If it's okay with you, I'd ask them to email it to us, and then we can just review it and give your feedback for the next session.
Yeah, man, that's fine, guys. So
you can just email it to us, and we will share it with Deborah to ensure that you get your feedback before next week. We're going to be looking at buyer persona. Is there anything, last question, because we're actually out of time. Any last questions that anyone want to ask before we go? No last question. All right, so what you can do, if anything comes to mind before next week, please feel free to reach out to us. So thank you everyone for coming. I know I learned a lot. I'm sure that you also gathered some very valuable information. Thank you so much, Deborah, for coming, and we look forward to seeing you, having you next week when we discuss buyer persona. And we will definitely send the mission statements to you.
Yes, for sure, no problem. Send me the missions and the visions and the core values and stuff, and then we'll flesh it out, because for sure you want to have them, just like I hope everyone completes their needs assessment, because when we talk about buyer persona next week, there's a question in the needs assessment that we'll refer to with the target market, especially the age groups, and that starts to talk about defining who your buyer persona is and how we target them. So for sure, these exercises, for those of you who need to catch up, you have a whole week. It doesn't have to be final, but you have to do something, guys. You know, these sessions are not just for us to come and give you the answers, because everybody's business is different and everybody has a different story to tell. You have different values, you have different passions, so you have to put in the work.
Agreed.
Thank you so much. This was awesome.
All right, guys, I'm so glad.
Okay, bye everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I look forward to seeing everyone next week.
Good night.
Bye,
Good night.
everybody.
Thanks, Deborah.
No problem.
Good night, and thanks everyone. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Good night. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Christina, are you still there? You have your hand up. Okay, I think it's just yes.
Can stop recording then, Natalia?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thanks, everyone.